This is the homework solution for the chapter 3 and for part 2, the test review. This video is going to be covering problems 1 through number 7. That is the proportion and the non-proportional relationship. We have number 1 here. Hopefully you can see it. It says write an equation in function notation for this relation. Okay, we have this linear equation. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I have to find the Y-intercept. Okay, the Y-intercept. Let me just bring this to paint so we could see this a little bit bigger. Okay, so you should notice that the Y-intercept here is the point in which the line crosses the y-axis, which is right here. Okay, and that is at 0. That is how you got the Y-intercept is equal to b equals to 0. Good. Next, they asked us to find the slope. I got here as 6 over 2 or 3 over 1. Let's see. Okay, from here, okay, what do I do to go to this point, right? Because this is from this perfect point to this perfect point. So 2, 4, 6. So 6 in the y direction. Let me get blue here. No, let me make that purple. 1, 2, which is 2. Okay. Do you see how my slope is equal to the change of y over the change of x, which is equal to, what is my change of y? 6. What is my change of x? 2. Do you see that? That's how I got that. Slope is 6 over 2, simplified into 3 over 1. Straightforward. Okay. After I got that, I've noticed that it is a linear equation. So y equals mx plus b. But this time they want it into function notation. So the y becomes an f of x because it is a function of x. So here I can substitute my variables in. 3 over 1 is your slope, so that goes in for the slope slot. B equals to 0, that goes into the y-intercept, which is 0. Good? That is your solution. That is how we write the function notation for this relationship. I need the y-intercept, then the slope, then put it into function notation. Next, we have the number 2, which is the strawberry problem. The table shows the cost of picking your own strawberries at a farm. It's given by this data. I already put out my Excel sheet and I graphed it. Remember, let me just grab this. Remember that the x-axis is referred to the number of pounds of strawberries. So number of strawberries, that's in pounds. And my y, which is the second row in the chart, is my total cost. Y, total cost. Okay? Here it asks us to graph the data. So I did that. Write the equation in function notation to describe this relationship. Okay? So y-intercept equals to b, and my slope is 1.5 over 1. Okay? How did I get that 1.5? There's different ways you can count the chart, or you can count using the graph, or you can use the chart. Let me pull up. Let me bring this back up. Okay. Here you go. Oh, that looks bad. Okay, so how do I go from right here? This is x. This is x. Oh, nope. This is y. And this is x. So what is my change in y? How do I go from here to here? 1.25. How do I go from here to here? This is 1. So my slope, which is defined as m, is equal to change of y over change of x. How much is y changing? 1.25. What is how x is changing? 1 to 2, that is 1. Okay? So that is the slope. 1.25 over 1. That's how I got it right here. 1.25 over 1. This is a linear equation, but we want it to put it into function notation, which is f of x equals mx plus b. Make that substitution right here. 1.25 over 1, which is the slope. Plug that in. plus 0, or you can just simplify that into 1.25x. You never write that divide by 1, and you don't want to write that plus 0. It can be simplified to that. There you go. Last question. How much would it cost to pick 6 strawberries? There's many ways of doing this. Okay, but for this problem, what I did is I grabbed the original equation, f of x is equal to 1.25, and I let x equals to 6. The reason I let x equals to 6 is because it's 6 pounds of strawberries. Do you see that? 6 pounds of strawberries. That is why I let x equals to 6. Plug that into the equation. A function of 6 equals to $7.50. What this means is that when when it is 6 pounds of strawberries, the cost is $7.50. Do you see that? Fairly straightforward. All right. Good. The next one, the table shows the price in dollars for the numbers of roses indicated. Number of roses, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Prices, 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. First of all, they ask, is the price proportional to the number of roses? Is it proportion? How do you know? Explain. Remember, this is the key idea. This is very key. Okay? If you can't do the problem, if you do not understand this basic properties of proportions. Proportions have to have equivalent ratios. What equivalent ratios means is that they all have the same ratio. It can be broken down into the same ratio. Let me show you. The first one, 3 over 9. 3 over 9. If you put 3 over 9 and simplify it, that becomes 1 over 3. 3 over 9, if you just plug that into a calculator, 3 over 9 equals to, you get some decimal, convert that decimal into a fraction, you get 1 over 3, right? Or if you want to think about it in terms of the GCF, right? How do I get to 1? 3 divided by 3, right? 9 divided by 3. Okay, you're pulling out the GCF of 3 from the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator. Okay, that breaks down to 1.3. I'm going to highlight this. 6 over 8 breaks down to 1.3. 9 over 7 breaks down into 1.3. What I mean break down is I simplify the ratio. 12 over 36 is simplified into 1 over 3, and 15 over 45 is simplified into 1 over 3. Notice that these all break down into, or simplified into, the same ratio, which is 1 over 3. Okay? Also, I noticed that the y-intercept here is 0, 0. Okay, if you're wondering how I get it, here, let me just, boom, copy this. Let me bring up paint. Let me bring up paint. New. Boom. Oh, man. Let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Hopefully. Ugh, that's ugly. Hold on. Hold on. Let me try to get something. Alright. Here you go. Hopefully you could see it. Right. What is the y-intercept? So let me just bring out paint. Okay. This is x and this is y. Okay. To go from here to here, you add 9. Do you see that? Plus 9. So, what goes from here to here that is plus 9? Alright, 0. 0 plus 9 will equal to 9. Same thing here. 3 over 6 plus 3. Here to here plus 3. What plus 3? What number plus 3 would get me 3? Which is 0. Okay? Some of you think in terms of the opposite or subtraction, which works perfectly fine. You should see that it's 0, 0 here. Good? So, again, it's also equivalent because besides the equivalent ratio, the y-intercept is 0, 0. It says find the cost of purchasing 30 roses. Okay, there are 2 ways to do this, and I'm going to show both ways. There's other ways to do this, but I'm going to show 2 very common ways. First of all, you know that the cost of 15 roses is $45. Okay, how do I get that? It's right here. 15 roses is $45. So, what is the cost of 30 roses? That's the question mark. Okay. Remember, how do I go from 15 to 30? I multiply by 2. So I basically doubled it. to go from 15 to 30, I basically doubled it. So I have to double the cost. What is double 45? 90. Okay, so if you double 45, you get 90, which is 30 roses. Okay, so 30 roses will be equal to $90. Okay, there's an other way of doing it. Okay, the cost of 3 roses is $9 right here. And how do you get to 30 roses? To get to 30 roses, you can multiply 3 roses by 10. This multiplying by a number is referred to as the scale factor of 10. You're multiplying by a scale factor of 10. So the cost of 30 roses is 9 times 10, because again we're multiplying it by a scale factor of 10. Why do I multiply it by a scale factor of 10? That's how you go from 3 to 30. You multiply it by a scale factor of 10. 9 times 10 equals to $90. So either way you do it, you should still get $90 as the price of the roses when you have 30 roses. Good? Okay. And we have 3 more problems. I think this is 5, 6, and 7. So 5, 6, and 7 asks us to determine if y is proportional to x. Explain why or why not. Here is the chart. And again, to see if it's proportional, they have to proportional if they all have the same equivalent ratios. Right? Let's find all the equivalent ratios. 3 over 12 breaks down into, or simplifies into 1/4. 5 over 12 simplifies to 1 over 4. 2 over 8 is 1 over 4. 8 over 32 is 1 over 44. The fact that these all break down to the same ratio or simplified into the same ratio, we would say these all have equivalent ratios. Therefore, yes, it is proportional. Okay? Remember, it is only proportional if it has equivalent ratios. Okay? And the y-intercept here would be 0, 0. Okay? Next, 3 over 15. Can 3 over 15 simplify? Yeah, 3 over 15 can be simplified into 1 over 5. Okay. 4 over 14 cannot be simplified, so that's just 4 over 14. 5 over 19 is just 5 over 19. And 6 over 21 is just 6 over 21. If you plug that into a calculator, you're just going to get a very ugly fraction. And when you go from, an ugly decimal, and if you try to convert that decimal into a fraction, you're going to get 6 over 21. Look, all these 4 ratios they're not equivalent. Notice, the ratios are not equivalent. Because they are not equivalent, we say they are not proportional. Next, here's your chart. 6 over 4, 3 over 2. 9 over 6, 3 over 2. 12 over 8, 3 over 2. And last one, just 3 over 2. Alright, here are your 4 ratios. Okay, and I simplified them. And I noticed that they all are the equivalent ratios. Because they're all equivalent ratios, we would say that they are proportion. Good? Alright, that covers the proportion and the non-proportional relationship for Chapter 3 and 4 Part 2 test review.